Welcome, everyone. We are going to begin our meeting. If you would join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we will get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Welcome to the first official school board meeting of the 26-27 school year, even though we haven't actually gotten to school yet, but we'll be there in just a couple weeks. So we will begin. I just have a couple of additions, corrections, and or modifications. Those include 7.01, addendum to agenda item 11.06, approval of personnel items, and 7.02, addition of agenda item 11.33, approval of gifts from the public, Riverbend Elementary. I believe we have 0 citizen statements tonight. So we'll move on to 9.0, approval of agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education as scheduled for August 12th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. The next regular board meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 9th. That's Wednesday, September 9th, not Tuesday, not Thursday, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Parkwood Welcome Center. Next, we will move right into board and superintendent reports. Matt,
Not much. Hope everybody had a good summer and looking forward to the new school year.
I will second that. Appreciate the large group that came out for the meeting today. But no, it's been a great summer and excited to get the year started.
Yeah, same. Good summer, ready to school start. I will give a shout out. Both of my kiddos did the orchestra camp and the band camp last week. So shout out to the teachers that put that together. Went to the concert on Friday, and both groups did really well. Really impressed. So, but other than that, just glad to be back.
I don't know about you, but the summer went by extremely fast, and I wish it was a little bit longer. But I am looking forward to the kids going back to school. So that's about all I have right now. Thanks.
I gotta disagree with my colleague Tiffany. The summer did not go by incredibly fast. But it was wonderful just the same. And yeah, the first meeting, there's not a ton to report, but I would say this, as a parent of a student entering high school, I was really, really not prepared for the summer high school football, or sports in general agenda. It is incredible the amount of things that happen during the summer. I've spent my entire summer going to work and driving to Parkway North High School, but it's ready for it to be started up all over again.
Okay. One of the things that I did do over the summer that was school board related is I volunteered to serve on a bylaws subcommittee for the Special School District's Governing Council to develop bylaws that the Governing Council does not have. So there was a committee of 5, and we convened a few times over the summer along with the superintendent of Special School District to develop these. We will be reviewing them by the entire Governing Council at its next meeting on September 21st, and hopefully approving those to move forward. That's it.
Okay. I, like my colleagues, haven't done a whole lot of school board related activities this summer. However, in the past couple of weeks, I haven't had an opportunity to welcome some new people to Parkway. We've gotten together with our new administrators and all of our administrators for some kickoff meetings. Just earlier this week, Dr. Schneider and I welcomed about 80 new teachers to Parkway, and got a chance to meet some of them and chat with some of them, and some great folks, some that are coming here from other districts. I walked in with a young lady who just graduated from Mizzou, Kevin, and is starting, I think, 3rd grade at Mason Ridge, and just a whole host of people that are so excited to be in the classroom with students and excited to be here in Parkway. So it was very, very refreshing. I also got to greet some new, or not new, but some new, mostly returning coaches at, where were we? Central.
Central.
Central, and then we got a couple more schools before the end of the week. But again, people just really fired up to be back on the playing field and in courts and wherever and leading our young people. So that's been great, and I'm looking forward to first day of school visits and everything that encompasses the beginning of the school year.
Well, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to be starting my second year as your superintendent. It is super exciting to see all of the things coming together at the beginning of the year. So I want to just piggyback off of what President Todd said. Was able to visit coaches at Central and North this week. Also seeing our brand new teachers. I think it's so rewarding to see those who are literally going to have the very first day of their careers starting at Parkway. And I feel their excitement and remember that day myself when I started mine. A couple of other notes, because it's been a little while since I gave an update. In June, I had the opportunity to join the city of Manchester for their celebration of the United States' 250th birthday. We watched the community band, and I know that Parkway has a great relationship with their community band in terms of using some of our band rooms to practice. So it was really neat to see the talent that there is in the community with the adults who are musicians. Construction projects have been well underway all summer, and I look forward to touring those later this week with you all. Also, I attended the Missouri Association of School Administrators and the Department of Education's annual conference at Lake of the Ozarks in July. It was great to see a bunch of other superintendents who also do that from across the state. And last but not least, our governor came and visited Camp Guardian at Babbler State Park. I want to say it was back in June sometime. The Parkway Rockwood Community Education Group puts on that camp, and so representatives from Rockwood were there as well. So it was nice to have a visit by him too.
Thank you. Next up is our consent agenda. We've had an opportunity to review those items over the last week, and if there's nothing else, any other questions about any of those items, we'll proceed to approve that. May I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented in the August 12th, 2026 board materials? So moved. Anything to be pulled to action or closed? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Next up, we have an individual action item. And so I would like to invite Carrie Nunn, our CFO, and Elisa Tomich, our Chief Communications Officer, to join us.
All right, good evening. Let's see, I guess this is the clicker. Good evening, President Todd, Vice President Hopper, members of the board, Dr. Snyder, and Ms. Stover. Tonight, Carrie Nunn and I are here to bring together several months of work and discussion around Parkway's long-term financial outlook. In June, after sharing with you what we heard from several months of community engagement, you asked for administration to return today with ballot language that you will be considering tonight. So we're going to walk you through 4 things. First, the financial background that brought us to this point, what we heard through our community engagement process, the different financial paths that were considered, and then finally, the specific ballot proposal before the board.
As early as a year ago, we started talking about the financial challenges that we would be facing in the next 10 years. So we did that both internally and externally with our community. So this is a chart that some of you have seen several times, but this chart is showing our financial forecast for the next 10 years. And it shows that our operating expense, the top line, is growing at a rate that is outpacing our operating funding growth. And that's due to multiple factors. We are experiencing rapid growth in cost for our essential services and our materials, as well as rapid cost expense with our healthcare costs. Compounded with that, we also have restrictions with our funding growth due to state laws that require us to limit the amount of collection that we can experience. So if you were to measure that shortfall over that 10-year forecast, that measures to be over $75 million. So when we analyze this challenge and we're looking at this gap, you can see that this is a multi-year challenge. If you were just to take 1 year in this particular example, if we were to take school year 27-28, and we were to cut the budget by the $4.1 million in that year, you would see that the next year, that would solve a little bit of the issue, but the next year we'd have to turn around and do more budget cuts, and the next year more and more. And so it compounds. So this is truly a multi-year challenge that really needs a multi-year solution. We knew that with this forecast, we could see this, that we were having this challenge, and we already have begun to act. So in the school year that just finished, the 25-26 school year, and the upcoming school year, the 26-27 school year, we identified over $15.4 million to eliminate from our budget, with the goal being to minimize the impact that the students would feel in the classroom.
So it's important to point out that this has been a deliberate process that began more than a year ago. Last September, Dr. Schneider convened the Budget Task Force, which was made up of about 30 staff members across Parkway representing all employee groups, to start taking a deeper look at our financial outlook. This group developed 4 recommendations and brought them back to you all in January. And one of those recommendations was to start a community engagement process that would begin building awareness in our community of Parkway's financial outlook, as well as get a sense of our community's direction on a solution. In February, we launched that conversation with our community at State of the District. And March through May, we held a series of 4 community conversation events in each area of the district at all 4 high schools. We conducted community surveys and invited participation by sending postcards to every resident in the district. And then we shared those findings, as well as, so basically what we heard from our community, with you all in June. So tonight is really the culmination of a process that began many months ago. We are very intentional about making this a broad community conversation, not simply a conversation with those who attended board meetings or steering or PTO, but really those who are all throughout Parkway. We use multiple ways to reach people: direct mail, in-person meetings, surveys, our website, social media, and earned media. More than 500 residents participated in community conversations. You all were there. It was amazing to see the turnout and the engagement at each of them. And nearly 2,400 of our residents responded to our phone and our online surveys. Importantly, we communicated broadly with approximately 60,000 residents through direct mail in Parkway to let them know of the problem that we were starting to talk about. And what emerged from all that was very consistent across the different forms of engagements. People told us they want us to protect the opportunities that students have today in Parkway: strong academics, extracurricular experiences, supports, and the overall student experience. They also told us that fiscal stewardship matters. There is an expectation that we continue looking very carefully at our expenses and making cuts where appropriate. But there was definitely concern about relying on cuts alone, particularly where those reductions began impacting students and the classroom and Parkway programs. Finally, we did hear a desire for a sustainable solution. People aren't just asking for us to simply solve next year's budget. They wanted to know what puts Parkway on a solid footing for the next decade.
So after hearing all that feedback, we began evaluating multiple paths, taking into consideration the feedback that we heard from the Budget Task Force and our community members, with the goal to find this sustainable health that we were seeking, as well as keeping Parkway. And we came to the stabilization point, which was adding 46 cents to our operating levy. By doing this, it allows us to compensate for our funding restrictions, keep pace with our spending growth without cutting into the core programs, and then maintaining a healthy fund balance over the next 10 years. And as a reminder, of our residential tax rate in comparison to the other school districts in St. Louis County. This is the 2025 residential tax rate, and we are the second lowest residential tax rate in all of St. Louis County for public schools. So earlier, I showed you a slide of what the financial forecast is if nothing changes. And this is the chart that shows you what our 10-year financial forecast would be with that additional revenue or that additional operating revenue. And as you can see, the lines have switched. So as we move away from how we, the feedback that we got and the path that we got to get here, we move now to what the ballot language would propose. And so for the ballot language, it would propose an increase to our operating levy of 46 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. We do have different property types. We have 4 different property types. We have residential, commercial, agricultural, and personal. And so each one of those property types have their own unique tax rate. And so the proposed ballot would be to increase each one of those individual rates by the 46 cents. This is an example of what is on the ballot language, but it is also an estimate of what those rates would be, as this is based on the 27 evaluation, and so those would be subject to statutory calculations. So the proposed ballot language that we're bringing to you tonight, its purpose is to clearly communicate what citizens are being asked to authorize and how that additional funding will support Parkway. And so I'm going to read to you the bold portion of the language because it is directly impacting how we plan to utilize those increase in funds. So in order to retain and attract teachers and support staff, maintain safe and secure schools, sustain academic and extracurricular experiences for students while maintaining the district's financial stability. If approved, the adjusted operating levy is estimated to increase by 46 cents per 100 assessed evaluation. So the question before the board tonight is whether to approve this language and place the measure before Parkway voters. Questions?
I have one question. So obviously, something that we've talked about is the senior tax freeze. How does this levy affect that at all?
Excellent question. I actually finally got a formal answer from from St. Louis County, actually just within the last 2 weeks. And so with this ballot measure, it would still, the participants that are part of the tax freeze, the senior tax freeze, would not see an increase into their bill because their bill is frozen based on the year that they began their participation.
All right, I'll put you on the spot. This is not necessarily a Parkway problem. This is districts across Missouri and also the U.S. to a degree too. Do we have any other idea what other districts are considering doing a operating levy this fall?
Yes, so I have had conversations with other school districts in the area, and I do know, I can't say what school districts because they still have to talk to their board and their board has to approve it. But if they go through that process, I do know that we will not, if they approve the measure and approve with their board, we would not be the only one on the November ballot in the St. Louis County.
Do we know the letter that'll be assigned to it?
We have a letter we are hoping to use, but we're not sure if it's taken yet. So we're going to, so if this is something you would be approving, if you would approve tonight, then we would be reaching out to the county election office and asking if that letter is taken or not. And if it is, then we will pivot. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the letter. We are hoping for letter P. I said that right? We said P. I questioned myself for a second there. I was like, yeah, it's P.
Have we, I know we've talked about lots of different scenarios. If we raised it this amount, if we didn't, what would happen if we didn't? Have we begun to look at cuts that might have to be made if for some reason a measure like this wouldn't pass?
Those are conversations we were having. Dr. Schneider has been leading us through some of that process and began that process of looking at it and analyzing, that data. So we have started that process. We haven't selected anything concrete, but we are aware that this could be something if you guys don't vote for it tonight, or if you do and it goes to the voters in November, we always have to have contingency plans and hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Any other questions? All right, thank you both very much.
Okay, thank you.
So at this time, we have, as Carrie mentioned, we've been actively involved in this and evaluating all of the feedback and information we've gotten from surveys. So I will ask for a motion and a second that the Board of Education approve the resolution calling for an election in the Parkway C2 School District to increase the district's operating levy.
So moved.
Second.
Nikki, would you please call roll?
Mrs. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Kilper?
Yes.
Ms. Matt Franklin?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Seltzer?
Yes.
Mr. Spector?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. We have no policy review tonight and no reports or work sessions, so may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?